Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Ellie Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And this is a very special episode, isn't it, Ellie?
It is, because we're joined by Lee and Jason.
I'd have done it Jason and Lee. I'd have done it alphabetically.
Yeah,
but
also that's
you
the
do,
age thing as well.
Yeah, you do you, Ellie. You ruin
slightly
it.
have to be polite about it. Come on now.
Alright. It's the he's a very old age thing. There we go.
We're a minute in and I'm already being bullied.
Yeah. Ellie, what are we talking about in this show?
Jason and Lee, as listeners know, when we get guests on, they tell us what we're all going to do for Culture Swap. And Jason and Lee picked X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
Because apparently they like putting us through torture.
Well, we'll find out why later. But before we get to that, it's time for everyone's favourite part of the show, catching up with Ellie, Liam, Jason, and Lee. Nailed it. Thank you. So let's have our guests catch us up first, because they've both been on before individually, and now they're here together, Lee. So
We're here together,
that's a
Lee.
word.
That's very good.
I was wondering when that
Jesus.
dig was going to come. Was it going to be early? Was it going to be late? Was it going to when are we going to bring up that Lee bitched enough that he didn't get his own part and then keep it up even when they're finally both together?
Yeah.
And it turns out right at the start, right at the offset. Just fuck you.
The reason
you
why
whiny
we
bitch.
accepted to do X-Men Origins Wolverine is the thing that you suggested. We were like, oh, wait, we have to pander to him a little bit, keep him secure. So how you feeling about all this, Lee? How about let's let Lee start. That way he'll be able to get off his chest how he's been feeling for the last year.
I'm so emotional.
Let's go, sloppy seconds.
And I went to. I'm actually just back from my anniversary holiday, my first anniversary holiday from getting married. And it
Congrats,
was
man! That's awesome.
Yeah, it was to Menorca,
Nice.
the island of Menorca.
Oh, nice.
There's nothing like other than a lovely paradise with family and all. There's not really much to talk about except that I had a small. Deep crisis of self-loathing during the holiday.
Oh, that doesn't sound ideal.
That doesn't sound great.
The good thing is that when you have those moments where you kind of just break down and you wonder, am I the worst? That once they're over, you're convinced it's not so bad. So we're,
I guess.
Yeah, so that's.
I want to know more about this, man. Come on, what happened?
It was weird. Like I just woke up one day, and I guess like the good thing about holidays is that, or the way I see them is that they break all your routines, and therefore they let you kind of look at your life when you get back and go like, what the fuck am I doing with my time? And,
Well, we're getting deep.
but like 2 or 3 days before I came back, I was just like, I think I turned to my wife Maria. I was just like, I think I'm just in a bad place right now. I just don't really like where I am and who I am at the moment and shit like that. Just shit. Everybody has an identity crisis once in their life at least, and I had one a couple of days ago. But it was good because that's what holidays are for, is that you're away from society and you have enough time to recuperate from intense identity crisis.
Yeah, that's what holidays are for.
Especially Christmas.
Yeah. So is it a career thing, or is it something else that's going on? You can talk to us. This is a safe place.
It's only going out on the internet.
Yeah. I'm using this as a emotional, cred. Like, whoa, he's so complex. He actually hates himself. he could be a Batman someday.
That's what the world needs, is a red-headed Batman.
Yeah. Well, maybe a Robin then.
Well, I've seen this thing going around, which is like, Batman gets his name because he's afraid of bats. So what would your superhero name be using that logic?
Boxman.
Wouldn't it be Me-Man?
That's good. No, I'm claustrophobic, so Boxman.
That makes sense.
Like I fell into a cave and then further into like a cardboard box sealed over, and then I couldn't get out for days, and maybe who I am.
And then you fight crime by putting criminals in boxes.
No,
It's
I just
perfect.
dress up. I dress up like a box through.
Oh, like Metal Gear Solid.
Shit at people. Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's copyright infringement. Somebody's already done this. Yeah, I throw box-related things, and I have an obsession with putting people in jail because it's like a box of its on its own. You know, I use jail as the ultimate deterrent.
Perfect. And you just
Weirdly, sort of more appropriate than Batman because yours fits better. I'm putting them in jail. Why is Batman putting him in jail? He's a bat.
No idea. You should hang him upside down, wouldn't he?
But he uses
Exactly.
fear, like he has yeah. So, but then so am I.
These comic
I
books
guess.
we love so much, so flawed.
And the best one of all, later today.
Oh yes.
It's perfect.
Yeah, okay, back to all I was trying to get at was that I had nothing really to catch up on other than deep-rooted self-loathing. And I workshopped it over the remainder of my holiday, and I came back refreshed and happy, and all that really took was me talking about it to do it. So that's my moral of the story is talk about your shitty perception of yourself a little bit, preferably not on the internet, but if you're confident enough about it, then the internet, and you'll all feel better.
See, I thought you were going to try and guilt trip us and be like, yeah, this all started when I was invited onto your show second.
See, that's how you make things funny. That's smart. Yeah, other than that, fuck, oh, yous have been getting healthy lately, right? Yous are still doing that, right?
It's just Liam.
Just Liam.
Well, no, I've sort of roped you into some of it.
What's
Oh
this?
yeah. Well, I don't know if it counts.
I'm trying to like look after myself and go to the gym and then do active things on the weekend.
Me too. Good man.
Yeah, it's surprisingly fun.
It's
but
great for the head.
yeah,
I can sense Ellie's aversion to this entire conversation.
Yeah, so you say that. It's not so good for the head when you invite like Ellie and, I don't know, your girlfriend Cat, and then you decide to take them for a nice little bike ride, and then after like 10 minutes, you have about an hour and a half of them just moaning about how awful it is. That's not so good.
I lasted a lot longer than 10 minutes before I started moaning.
We did the first bit, and you went, I fucking hate you for making me do this.
Oh, that was... there was a bit where Liam was cycling ahead real fast.
Yeah.
Because he's fitter than me. And I was like, I'm going to compete with him and do the same thing. And immediately went up a steep hill very quickly and nearly passed out at the top.
You're just angry because... I don't know, man. This is weird. Why would you get angry at him for your competition?
Right?
Oh, no, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an unspoken thing. It's just competition just works like that. It's like peer pressure, you know. You don't really see it, but it happens even when you don't realize it, and then it just comes out at terrible times. So that's when Ellie went on a shouting tirade at Liam for cycling faster.
Ellie, if you're looking into getting outdoors a little bit more and clearing your head, if that's what you want to do, I've been going on long-ass walks now and putting on like audiobooks and stuff like that, and just
the Nerd on Nerd podcast.
That one too. I have to get to that. I've actually shunned listening to podcasts in the last month, and the reason for that is because I'm just tired of having people talk to me. So I've been listening to like a lot of Star Wars audiobooks. Which is great.
Okay.
So
why is that not somebody talking to you?
I don't. How could I put it?
It's someone professional.
No, it's more a question of being taken someplace else and not necessarily like you can zone out at one point
is true.
and you can come
Absolutely.
back in and I can piece together where they are because Star Wars isn't that complex to understand. Whereas if I'm listening to Nerd on Nerd and they start bickering, and then if I start listening to I don't know, like the other people I listen to, you want to pick up a little bit later in the conversation and you're like, oh shit, now I got to go back and listen to this whole part and then I'll zone out again and I'll have to re-listen to it. So the audiobook I don't give a shit about. I'll eventually sit down with the book itself and kind of go through it. So it's not as bad. Or that or music. I've been listening to a lot of music lately. I hadn't listened to music in like years. Just put on like old soundtrack from when I was a kid, listening to old like punk rock or hip hop and all that stuff. So
nice.
And it's great. You put that stuff on and you just walk. You know, I have this. I have an app that's been keeping like my distance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been super cool to just go out. I go out 5:30 in the morning and I get back just in time to make my girlfriend her coffee.
That's too early.
It's too, yeah,
But I can't sleep.
get up
I
at, like,
come back
6
home
and that's
from
still
fighting
too early.
crime, and you know, it's just a weird thing.
Of course, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. I think Ellie and Kat would prefer walking, but
Yeah.
I just find it a bit too slow.
This is the real issue we've got, is that when me and Liam are like, let's go outside, we
Right.
have very different goals. In that I want to go out to a forest and like just go and experience nature and be like, oh, look at this beautiful sight, and Liam's like, it's all just trees.
It's the air, man. It's the air.
Which you
I
can
like
get when you
trees.
cycle.
Huh?
I love going for I've been walking like 3 miles a day from on my way home from work, just because I enjoy walking and just sort of having time
That
to
is
yourself.
exercise. Then you are doing
You're
exercise.
doing
I'll count
exercise. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also eating an unhealthy amount of pizza, and that sort of cancels that all out.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
just
No,
say
I've,
diet,
I've,
we
I've
just
adjusted
said
there too. But we
active.
were talking
Yeah.
about Liam. You've been taking care of yourself. Sorry, man. We kind of just
Yeah.
jumped in.
But that's fine. That's fine. To be honest, I'm still desperate to find out more about Menorca and what that's like.
Oh, very cool. Let's go back to Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've ever been there. So sell me on it.
Well, the place where we were, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the area, but the hotel was called Hotel Chiroy, and
Okay.
it was like this great little cove where the sea comes in, and this actual cave just outside the restaurant, and it had this beachfront that was like about 10 steps away from like a pool. And the actual town and culture in Menorca is super cool. They are huge gin drinkers. They're way into the fish market. There's a lot of cool things. We did a tour of the main town, one of the main towns called Mao, which turns out was like British occupied for a while. And like all the tour was just like, and this is where we used to have things until the British came in and fucked it up. And it was like, yeah, we've all been there. We've all been in occupied states. Don't you worry. It was just super pretty, super fun. There's not like, it was one of those holidays that was specifically to do fuck all and just have nice
Yeah.
weather and to relax and realize you have deep seated horror within you. And it ticked all the boxes.
Did you do any swimming?
Oh yeah, loads. The pool itself and therefore the sea also were fucking freezing. So like the first day was agony, and then I slowly trained myself just to learn to dive, just because it would just ease the horror of it every day. But once you're in there, after about 40 minutes, it got warm. once the hypothermia set in, all was good.
Nice.
It's like I got my blue lips on. Everything's fine now.
Yeah, sun's so red now.
You just take off your pants
hopefully-
and you stare down at your purple dick after that too. You just rubbing it sideways to keep it warm.
Like trying to make a fire happen.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully you found kind of talking about that with us has been quite nice and sort of lifted that off your shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now I still have unresolved abandonment issues from this show, but
Oh well,
but then
we can't fix those.
And then I also got unresolved guilt issues from losing the audio the other time I was here. So this show's just been a psychological nightmare for me so far.
Yeah, me too. Jason, what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Oh, lots happened. I haven't gone through as much self-loathing as Lee does. He takes
that's
care of that
probably good.
on our end. But yeah, I've well, right now, tomorrow on Wednesday are the last meetings that I have for the entire semester, and then I'll be off for my summer vacation, which is going to be really, really cool.
Nice.
On Thursday, I'm leaving for the race in Montreal. I'm going to the Formula One race again, so that's going to be really interesting. Yeah, so it was a bit sketchy. The end of the semester was really fun, but because there's been a decline in the enrollment in college, I might not have a job after Christmas, which is the worst time to not have a job.
Yep.
However, they're making me work overtime. They gave me a choice during the fall semester. They said, okay, you can either take 5 classes or take 6 classes. And if you do have a little bit of work after Christmas, we'll just credit that class there, and you could be considered full-time if you ever have 3 classes after Christmas. And I was like, all right, so I'm going to be I'm going to be working overtime during the fall, so I'm not necessarily eager for that. But, it's just a small price to pay for maybe, putting that on my side. Hopefully, fingers crossed that I get a little bit of work after that. But yeah, so other than that, I mean, I've been having lots of fun with the kids. Lee and I haven't been recording steadily, and the reason for that is because I get lazy. And
We
that's
get
it.
lazy. You can't take all
yeah.
the blame.
Well, I think most of it, and seeing as that you were going to Spain to mope, I was in Quebec City moping as well, figuring out why the hell I was getting tired of talking about movies. And Lee sent me this wonderful long ass message. We had a beautiful conversation this week. It was very touching, and I showed it to my girlfriend, who almost shed a tear as a result, because I think that Lee speaks her language. Because when he sends me these long ass things, I roll my fucking eyes because I'm like, can't you be? We're complete opposites. I try to keep it simple. And then Lee sends me this goddamn novel I have to read.
He represses, and therefore he cries when he laughs.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. So I'm still processing the information. So these tears are for next week when I fully understood what Lee sent me. And so, so we're in the process of redefining the show, and I put my finger on it, so I'll tell Lee about it right now, and you guys can chime in. I'm kind of sick of the discussion, I'm getting aggravated at people talking about movies online. And it's becoming a very, very, it's becoming a nuisance where I'm like, my voice is just kind of going off into the void. And it's not because I think that mine is more important than the others. It's just that people don't stop to listen anymore. They just wait for their turn to talk. And I'm so fucking angry at that now. And that's kind of where I put my finger on it. Because I love doing the show and I love like getting into it and all that. And it's just that when I noticed that everything online was just so massively irritating for my head, for self-esteem, everything, where you're like, what the fuck are people complaining about? We're so lucky.
When you get to have a conversation about anything on the internet, including films, it ends up often having to be, you have to go into every conversation with your guard super high up, because so the first thing that's going to come in is a dig or a correction or a slight, and nothing positive. I mean, we do get a lot of, for the show, we've got a lot of like positive people being really like, oh, I appreciate what you've said and stuff like that, but because the negative, it's just that effect that negative digs have on you. Like the moment that you get one, you're crippled if you're not prepared for it. So now, especially Jason is walking around with like a fucking turtle shell on the internet, because he's like, everyone looks suspicious, ready to dive in to dig at what you actually like about shit, and it's just so exhausting.
But is that just exactly sort of partly like the circles that you kind of end up finding yourself in on sort of social media and stuff?
That's pretty much what it is now, and that's where I'm starting to clean up a little bit. I'm like, oh well, mute this.
I think we do good.
Yeah.
I think we do good cleansing the out of the circles pretty relatively. I mean, pretty frequently. But for some reason, we just can't seem to get to a point where, like, we look at the feed out of it, on Twitter, and we're not like, oh, that's a bit of a shit tweet. Oh, that's a bit shit. And this conversation just looks like it's going around in circles and is going to hurt everyone involved.
Yeah, because to be honest, the Nerd on Nerd Twitter account, I've kind of taken a bit of a step back, and I just tweet very, very rarely when we have like stuff to tweet about.
A total no control over that.
Yeah, but like my personal Twitter account, I have a rule where I try not to be negative about like media, because there's enough of it. If someone asks me like direct questions like, "What did you think of this?" I don't necessarily want to lie, but I don't want to necessarily be that forthcoming with any sort of grievances.
You don't, like, what did you think about this film? And you don't immediately start a conversation with, I thought it was shit, and I think anybody who likes it is a terrible human being. Just tone down the aggression a little bit. It's
and I always try and look for a positive somewhere, which with some stuff like Feast, it's quite hard. But most films and stuff, there's generally something you can talk nicely about.
I'm so excited that you've said that before our X-Men Origins talk, because that really sets the stage to our expectations of what you're bringing today.
Oh yeah, what I'm expecting to bring is for both Jason and Lee to kind of come with these wonderful theories and this like nicely researched, really, really airtight argument, and then me to just go, that's why I don't like it.
That reminds me of our conversation on what was it, Godzilla, when you were like, you said everything to make me like it even less. I was like, it's such a perfect line. I like that. But so that's it. It was just exhausting. Lee said the perfect word. It's becoming exhausting, and I think that's what I'm having no fun interacting with people online. And I've just noticed that, like, social media itself is such a waste of fucking time for me, where I'm like, you know what? Why am I not doing other things? There's a whole, like Ellie pointed out, there's trees. I could go outside and look at the trees and have much more fun. They give me something in exchange for what I'm giving them, whereas the other people are just attacking me with anything. It'd be the equivalent of walking in the forest and the trees were like alive, like in the Wizard of Oz, and they just kept slapping you in the face and throwing apples at you. That's how I feel social media is now. It's a fucking forest and Wizard of Oz. And so, I'm looking forward to getting going with Lee again. I think we just have to map out what movies we want to talk about, and I'm going to just kind of whittle it down to our conversations, have the people we like to talk to on the show whenever we feel it's necessary and all that stuff. And so, I'm the walks that I've been doing, the exercise. I've lost 20 pounds.
Nice.
It's been really great, man, to just kind of start shedding weight. My girlfriend finds me more attractive now, which is fun. And
how does that come up
You have
in
to take her
conversation?
opinion. Yeah, it's like,
no, I mean, how does it come up in a conversation? She basically, I was having a shower. I stepped out of the shower, and she's like, it's showing now. And I didn't know what she meant right away. I thought she was talking about my dick, and I was like, it's always showing. I have no idea. No, but she says the weight loss is showing, and I was like, okay. And she says, you can see it too now, can't you? And I was like, what are you referring to again? Yeah. I was like, I can always see it. She said, sometimes with the belly there, it's a little bit less. But... Yeah. So the thing is that that's been kind of fun to get out, and I mean, it's slowly been creeping up into my psychological state to just go out, do my thing in the morning, and just kind of get back and be completely oxygenated. And it puts me in such a great mood in the morning. I talk with my kids. I'm much more open-minded. I've been, a little bit more... loving, I'll say. My kids have noticed a difference. They're like, Dad, you're kind of, you don't get angry as much. And I was like, that's kind of cool. Thank you. It's like, how angry was I getting before? But yeah, so all that's been, I'm in a great mood, and that's it. Whenever I go online, that's when I realize, oh, this is the fucking depressing place where it's just a cesspool of trashy individuals that have no real insight on anything, just yelling at each other. That's so fucking boring. So yeah, other than that, I'm looking forward to buying my Funko Deadpool Bob Ross.
Nice. Yeah. I like that gets mentioned in there.
So, about you guys, I want to know. Ellie, what's up with
Ellie,
you?
do you want to go first? Because I'm going to bring the mood like way down with mine.
Oh God, fine, okay.
We started at self-loathing, and then...
am I going to be the only one that's...
And then Liam's like, I'm going to bring the mood down.
I haven't done much. The only thing I've done recently is... Shut up, Liam. We're being positive, remember? We just had 2 conversations about positivity.
Yeah, come on in.
Me and Liam, on Saturday...
Well done.
Went to see the Book of Mormon.
We did.
Oh, yay. I've seen
Went up to that London.
It's the first time I've seen it, so... When Liam offered me tickets, I was like, hell yeah, that sounds good. We went with me, Liam, Cat, and my dad.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, spot the odd one out.
Cat?
Lame.
Yeah. No, it was cool because I've tweeted to your dad before and I've spoken to him on the phone, but I've never actually met him, and he was basically exactly like I was expecting.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome.
He's like a 50-something man that probably stopped growing up at like 20.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So an
That's pretty accurate,
aspirational goal. That's amazing.
Yeah. I'll give him a follow on Twitter as well then. Hi, I'm from Quebec. Do you like me?
He loves music. So just tweet to him about music and you'll be golden.
Yep.
All right, cool.
You'd be sorted.
Cannibal
Sweet.
Corpse, here I come.
But yeah, it was. It's such a good musical.
Yeah.
It's so good. It really is.
It's just amazing.
I mean, it's the
Yeah.
second time that me and Kat have seen it now. So I'll let Ellie, because I've discussed it on the podcast before, so I'll let Ellie give her thoughts.
I mean, it's just hilarious.
Brilliant.
I don't know how much more in depth I can go than that. It's the whole thing is hilariously funny. I've been listening to the soundtrack for
What's
the
your
last
favourite song?
couple of days. It was Turn It Off.
Yep.
And it has now swapped to I can't remember the name of it. The one he sings about making things. Oh, I'm making it up again.
Yeah, yeah.
Such a good song.
That's good.
Just love it.
What's the what's the song that ends the first act? The guy Cunningham sings it, and he has to man up or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Man Up. Yeah.
I love that song, man. It's so good. But so there's so many in it. That's the thing is it could have just been funny. But the majority of the songs are genuinely listenable. We have them on usually when we get drunk in the apartment, just me and the wife. And
the cats.
Yeah, and the cats. We'll put on musical playlists and belt and Book of Mormon gets right in there. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't realise that they got, I think, the songwriter that worked on Frozen to help them with writing the songs.
I think
for the Book
one
of Mormon.
half of them, probably the talented half, because the songs in Frozen are fucking terrible.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen...
Yeah. It's on my list.
Liam likes High School Musical.
It's bad, man. Don't
It
watch
is
it.
bad.
It's a terrible
Like
movie.
it's worth seeing. I think once, because it clearly had a big effect on a lot of people. And it was, I don't know, people were excited about the twists in it and stuff like that, or the overall intended messages. But the film itself, like those intended messages, are absolutely squandered each and every step of the way by the story writing, and it just forces you to go, you're like, oh, I see what they were trying to do. Everything comes with an asterisk. Like, Frozen was technically, with best intentions, a really good film. It just didn't, it was just often very cheap and had some of the worst character development and songs ever put to a Disney film, let alone film. It's weird. That should be the other way around. Anyway. Book of Mormon.
Go on then, go on. Oh yeah, no, I was going to say go on, Liam. That's my thoughts summed up.
Just
now, I mean, let's go on, Liam. Get depressing.
No, because obviously I did the Book of Mormon as well, which was good. I what I like about it is how good the stage production is with the set design and how that sort of moves as the show goes on. The thing is, we went to see Hamilton a week ago, and I've had the songs from that stuck in my head. And I was like, oh, okay, Book of Mormon will probably knock that out. It hasn't.
It's impossible. No, it doesn't do that. The thing about Hamilton's songs is they're actually kind of musical perfection. And it's all the worse for it because, kind of like the songs from Moana, because it's mostly the same songwriter, they get caught in your head for like years. I mean, I listened to Hamilton a year ago, I think, this month, a year ago, because it was our honeymoon. Yeah, that was the first time I listened to the album of it. I've never seen it still because it's too expensive and booked out. But I like my wife and I are super dying to go. But I know we both know all the songs, and we've both listened to the album like 3 or 4 times over. And then just some of the songs just creep into your normal music playlist.
Yeah,
that's how terrifying it gets, and pervasive, and it's kind of just like the worst, but. Because you want your life back.
Well, that's it. Like when I went to see it, I deliberately didn't listen to any of the songs before going because I wanted that like fresh experience.
That's smart. Yeah.
And the thing is, because the songs are so intricate, it was quite overwhelming. So there was like loads that I didn't really pick up on, and there's like a lot of like recurring motifs. I think it is.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much. It's so delicately written in and out. And the thing, like when I was listening to it, like on like Spotify or something, we were just driving, so I was really grateful not to have like the images of the actors and stuff, because I was like, that's going to be fucking distracting. They're just singing the story. I need to absorb this to understand what the fuck's going on.
Exactly.
So that was I would have preferred that method. I would have suggested it, but it's good to know that
they released more tickets for it today, so I bought more tickets so I could go and see it on my birthday. It's like I gave myself a birthday present because I'm so addicted.
What are the prices of the tickets?
Moving on.
Like, that's because that's the
so that's why he's depressed.
The horrible hook.
It's fine. It was a birthday present, so I can kind of get away with it. It's all good. It just means I have to wait till December before I can see it again, which just feels like a long wait.
Yeah, no shit.
It's sad.
Poor you, Liam, having to wait for your second viewing of Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever.
You cry from your ivory tower.
Yeah. I bought tickets so me and Kat can go, and then I got tickets for my mum and her other half to come, and I'm really not sure if they're gonna like it because they've seen like Les Mis and they liked that, but
That'll be
Like
fine.
it's just such a hard sell. Like, okay, come with us to a musical about one of the founding fathers of America, which is told
it's
through
all
rap
in
and
rap,
hip hop. Yeah.
It's weird. I think the best thing you could do is not overhype it. You know, try to rein in the expectations a little bit, because you're just like, it's probably the best musical I've ever seen on stage, and then people will go like, oh, then my expectation. I've seen Les Mis, and Les Mis is really good, so therefore,
Yeah.
Hamilton must be the greatest experience of my life, and then they just get let down horribly, and then they blame you for spending over £200 on fucking tickets for something they didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell them that it's a musical about the life and times of Lewis Hamilton, the F1 driver, and that way their expectations would just plummet.
Oh,
Like, I'm going to see this? Oh man, what the fuck? He's a prima donna. Why?
Yeah, like through gritted teeth. Thank you, Liam.
Yeah. And now to just bring the mood down. So it's been a stressful week. So Kat found a lump in one of her boobs like a week ago.
Oh shit. Okay.
So she went to a doctor, and they were like, "Oh, because it hurt." They're like, "It's probably nothing," and gave her like antibiotics. And then we had to wait until today for a hospital appointment just to get like a second opinion. And they were like, first, we don't really understand why you've been prescribed these antibiotics. But then secondly, it turned out it's just like a collection of fatty tissue, and it's nothing to worry about. It's not like the big bad thing that it could be.
Right.
But I just want to put the message out there. Check yourself and go to a doctor if there's anything unnatural there.
Yeah.
Holy
I figured
shit.
Nerd on Nerd is
I
the
can
right
imagine
place
if
to
you're
put
in
that message out.
If you're in that, the week of waiting must be fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where we're like, well, we're 70% sure that it's probably okay, but it's that other percentage where we're just like,
30 sucks, man.
yeah. So luckily, it was probably like one of the better outcomes it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just check yourself.
Yeah, holy shit, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not fun
Yeah.
at all.
No.
That did bring the mood down. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Now,
Pretty
It did.
reasonable. But it was your week, so I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like we had Book of Mormon as a nice distraction.
During
But-
it? Oh, man.
Yeah, but yeah, Kat's been quite good with it all. She sort of handled it quite well. Didn't let it get to her too much, and she also had to put over my shit all week. So yeah, she's
Yeah, because I imagine you didn't stop.
Well, I stopped like just the random like groping and squeezing because that was hurting her. So I was mindful. But now that she's got the all clear, I'm like, well,
Yeah,
That's
back
back
into
on the
separate
cards.
rooms, back into the podcast again.
so it's all good, right?
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So that was catching up with.